Today we got to talk about Bitcoin retesting this key indicator. Is it a warning to us all? A lot of the bears will point to a couple of these indicators that Bitcoin is testing, so I wanted to address it. Number one is Bitcoin is now touching that EMA 200, which traditionally speaking has been a very, very, very good support. Now, of course, we did break through that recently, okay? Last year when we had the FTX collapse and everything else collapse, and then we went below, and we stayed there for quite a long time until we broke out earlier this year, and we stayed above, right? So now we're back at that point, right around, this 25.7, 25.8-ish, right? So the naysayers will say something like this being very bad, that we can't break out of this line and we keep retesting it. And when you retest something long enough, eventually it breaks through, right? So this is one of those indicators that Bitcoin is retesting. Another one is this on the Fibonacci level, 38.2% level is generally speaking a good support, okay? Especially coming off from bottom. You look at previous cycles, Bitcoin broke above, then retested it, and then guess what happened? It went upwards, right? So some of these indicators that the naysayers will point out to, right? Actually, if you think about it and you expand out, realize that these are actually pretty positive indicators. A lot of times you see Bitcoin retest these even after breaking out significantly. So this does not necessarily mean that these are bad things, okay? Although some other channels, I won't name names, they are super, super, super bearish, and it just doesn't quite make sense. It doesn't add up when you add up all the facts and you look at the fundamentals of Bitcoin. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I want to address these two. You got a couple of scary retests, sort of, but then you realize a lot of these retests are normal. They happen all the time with every single cycle. So is it really scary at all? Well, not according to Arthur Hayes, okay, co-founder of BitMEX. There's a lot of conferences coming up. Right now is the Korean Blockchain Week, and then of course that leads into Token 2049. It leads into ETH Singapore, then it leads into Token 2049. So there's a lot of conferences going on right now. But Arthur Hayes argues that we're already in a bull market, and this is what I said too. Why are we in a bull market? Well, because of this. Right? We actually broke out above this 200 EMA. And also, the main point is, it was the first time in Bitcoin's history where we saw it gain strength as bank weaknesses happened. We've never, ever, ever seen that before. We never, ever seen Bitcoin actually be a true store of value and a hedge, I guess, against the banks and financial institutions, right? And I agree, and I've said that. We started a new bull run. We're just at the very beginning. And in every bull run, it just doesn't just go up to the moon. Not yet. Not until after the halving event and we have that last year. That's when things go up no matter what. Okay, but we're before that. We're right at the cusp of getting there, right? So this is definitely not the time to be scared out, right? To fall for the FUD that some are still trying to spread. Doesn't make sense to do so. Also, just take a look at this. Exchange transactions, the red line is BTC being withdrawn out. The green is being deposited in. And as you can see, the deposited in keeps on going down because no one is looking to sell. The long-term holders continue to hold. So why would they sell? Because they truly believe in Bitcoin. And of course, the withdrawals continue to be higher than deposits and continues to climb because there's more and more people, and specifically whales and large institutions that keep buying behind the scenes OTC. So that is why overall exchange reserves keeps going down. Number of addresses, whole coiners in this space, well above 1 million now. I remember when this figure was below 1 million, but continues to go above 1 million 18,747, and a lot of you guys are whole coiners now, right? Through DCAing, through years of self-discipline. That's what it takes sometimes, okay? To get a whole coin, to have one full Bitcoin is not easy. But if you've been listening to me, it would have been easy. But yeah, I'm glad to see this, and this continues to go up, and you just don't really see this dip anymore, not like previous times, because, again, the conviction and faith of Bitcoiners continue to go upwards and onwards, and again, part of the growing fundamentals that have never, ever, ever been better for Bitcoin, arguably. I know a lot of people still just look at the price, that's all they care about, and they don't truly understand why Bitcoin can one day go to $1 million. People just look at it, well, there's no way it could go to $1 million at 25, 26,000. That just doesn't make any sense. But if you truly understand what's going on behind the scenes and the growing fundamentals of it and the growing network and growing adoption, then you'll truly understand it can get there. It can get there. Kathy Wood, one of the biggest bulls, of course, Bitcoin bulls out there, says that Bitcoin and AI can transform the way companies organize, causing collapse in costs and explosion in productivity. Who doesn't like hearing that? And also, you know, how this relates to inflation, right? Generally speaking, technology is deflationary. So that would actually do a whole lot in terms of helping our inflation problems, okay? Because the governments will keep on printing. They're not going to stop. Governments around the world will keep on printing. This is what they know. And now they have accepted the fact that they could just print trillions more without much consequences, okay? But Bitcoin is how you go against that, okay? If you want to opt out of that, you don't want to see your money devalue over time significantly, not just by a little amount. If you want to opt out of your money being devalued in a significant way over the coming years, how you opt out is by buying Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin. You got the big giants, okay, even banks that are adopting Bitcoin and crypto. South Korean banking giant partners with BitGo, opens doors to crypto. Awesome. These banks are starting to realize, hey, we gotta adapt, or we're gonna be gone soon, right? So you got big institutions also. You know, I've been talking a lot about BlackRock and Fidelity and Vanguard and all these big boys. Of course, they're the biggest asset holders on the planet. But you got a lot of smaller guys with billions upon billions of assets also that are now looking to switch, right? Revolt is also another one. A big fintech bank out of France. They're integrating Segwit wallets for its users. So you're starting to see the revolution and the change. Slowly. But, I mean, honestly, it's not slow. I mean, I cover this all day, every week, every year. So, I mean, for me, it's kind of slow. But if you think about it, all this really started in 2021. So it's only been like 2 years. Imagine another 4 years, another 10 years. How much more adoption there will be. I don't think it's something that we can even predict right now. I mean, honestly, I can't imagine what it's going to be like after this halving event and the next halving event. And then the parabolic run end in, what is it? It'll be 2020, 2029, 2030. I can't even imagine how the landscape would be then. You know, how high Bitcoin will be, how high Ethereum and everyone else will be too.